Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is February 15th, 2018, and today is Thursday morning. So looking at the economic events of the day, earlier this morning at 2:30 South African time, we had Aussie unemployment change or employment change early this morning. And then later today at 3:30 South African time, we have a monthly PPI number coming out of the United States. Now, just a little bit more locally to South Africa, there was breaking news early this morning. I'm sure all of you have heard that President Zuma will actually be resigning, and he says despite the disagreement with the ANC leadership, he's not continuing, and that's obviously has affected the markets. Now, Zuma was obviously infected with a lot of different scandals, okay, throughout his presidency, a lot of corruption, etc., etc. And as such, there's some, positive news for the South African market, and that's sure to affect the market. And we'll take a look at that in just a moment. But let's see what's been happening in the market. So yesterday we had a CPI number coming out of the United States, and that, as a result, pushed the dollar further down versus all the currencies and pushed the commodities higher. And we're looking here at the Euro USD, and as you can see, we sold off sharply right before the number, and sure enough, right after the number, we had a massive rally and continued going on our up surge. We're trading here at 124.60-ish level, and now this is really colossal because, as you can see, we touched the moving average, the 30-day moving average, and then we continued following up higher. We're only about 50 to 60 pips off of our yearly highs, and that could bring us above, into new territory above this area. And remember that we've had this massive rally to begin with. If you look at a weekly chart, you could see that we seem like as if we're taking this right back up, which means that we may continue to see this type of volume on the upside into the 126, 128-ish level. Okay, we have a target of 130 for the end of the year, but that could frustrate even before that. So take a look at this as this unfolds. GBP USD finally breaking up, reluctantly, but breaking up. Okay, on the upside above 140. So I'd like to see it maintain this 140 level, okay, because we are hitting a little bit of a resistance here, previous support, okay, right about this area. So 140.28-ish level, okay, if we don't break above it, then we could see it maybe retracing back and correcting ourselves on the downside. Now, we spoke about Zuma's resignation, and as you can see, we're looking here at the USD ZAR, okay, this morning, and massive sell-off this morning from 1184-ish level down to 1172-ish level. It looks like it's consolidating here. So if you do have any shorts, you might want to unload here, especially when we look at a weekly chart. We'll see that previously around this level, we had a resistance level, okay, right about there, all right? We had a resistance level and then subsequently became support. So we're really flirting with that right now. So if we don't break this further down, we could see it maybe correct itself above this, between this 12 and 1172-ish level. Okay, so that's something to keep an eye on, especially those guys trading today. Aussie USD as well, big rally, and we're flirting with the 30-day average. Okay, so if we don't break above, okay, if we don't extend this rally, we may see ourselves correcting here. So this, you gotta just be in it to win it, but you have to also gauge for yourself as the momentum continues. Now, next week we have FOMC, so that's really an important event to keep an eye out. So, as things resolve itself, as things extend themselves, it'll be clearer for everybody. USD Japanese yen further declined to 106. Now, this was important because, once we broke this 108, okay, and the news just seems to keep on coming, okay, but, speaking from a technical level, all right, this is really colossal. All right, now at this level, I would say that we do have a little bit of a support, previous resistance level right here at 106.22-ish level. So if we do hit that, we may bounce off of it. So keep an eye on that. Now we mentioned that gold extended and oil extended, gold above 1350, and it really looked like it was, gonna actually come in yesterday, but it, spiked downwards before the number and then spiked up. Okay, so this is the type of news that, confirm some sort of buy in gold. Okay, happens to be that gold usually, quote unquote, happens to be, okay, that gold usually rallies in February, and sure enough, you finally get it, but it's obviously just because of news, but you still get it. Okay, so if we were looking at the graph and weren't paying attention to the news would say, okay, that makes sense because it's February. However, at these levels, we do have to see if it does sustain itself and doesn't make just a correctional move, and that it's really, changing its course, and, that the trend is now coming back up. So looking at oil as well, we maintained this level of 56. This was a really great buy. We mentioned this yesterday at this level because we were at support level and we bounced right off of it at 61.48. I believe we're going to be trading between the 61 and 60-ish level, okay, for some time. I don't think we're going to be breaking up above 66-ish level, but this is something to keep an eye on as production is, increased in the United States. And there's tally every week about the inventory, so keep an eye on that as well. Looking at the Dow Jones, we're slowly but surely inching up. 24,961, just shy of 40 points of 25,000, and as long as we can maintain this 25,000, I think we'll be doing okay, and we'll be back on track of rallying into the summer, and that's something to keep an eye out because we've had a massive correction as we mentioned last week, obviously, but there's got to be the correctional move to the correction, right? I mean, this was over here there were some serious buyers, okay, obviously it's much fiercer, much faster on the way down, but ultimately, the markets are still very strong. Okay, that's at least my consensus and the consensus that I speak to people in the States. And so, I won't be surprised if we hit, all-time highs, a little bit earlier this year. Okay, so keep an eye on this. Okay, especially if we do continue this rally. Now, remember, next week is FOMC, so that should, add some weight onto it as well. Looking at the DAX, here also we bounce above 12,400-ish level. Not as important as the 12,600-ish level, okay? But I do want to see continuation here if we continue rallying into the end of the week. Now, we spoke about the resignation of President Zuma, and as you can see, the markets are gapping up in the JSE. Okay, so let's see if we do get that continued rally that we're looking for, just pressure between, the markets rallying and pressure between, the news rally of the, shake up in the ANC. Let's see if we can extend that. Okay, so we'll look for that later today. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.